The purpose of today's workshop, as I already set up the context, and then this workshop we're going to talk about the strategic line 2 and 3, and since these are the terms that we use in the this entire project, and this entire project is divided into the 4 lines of strategies, and we have covered line 1 in November 2021, and today we're going to talk about the line 2 and 3. So today I'm going to talk about the global competency, because I think this is one of the need of an hour, and what I've understood during this entire process and being a part of this project, that global competency is very important, as Sir has already talked about, not only from the employability perspective, but from the overall perspective that how we are inculcating the internationalization, the series of international activities in our curriculum, in our assessment, in our pedagogy. So at the end of the day, our students, and we are developing, and we are having a global competent student, so that when they go abroad, there is a similarity that yes, if I have studied here, or maybe if I have studied outside, but there is a similarity when it comes to the curriculum, when it comes to the style of assessment and the pedagogy. So yeah. So the first I'm talking about the internationalization of curriculum. This word sounds like a very technical word, but if we go in a very definition of internationalization of curriculum, so it talks about the series of all those international activities. For example, the mobility, when you organize a student exchange program, or when you have a research initiatives, when you are collaborating with a foreign author, or maybe your student is collaborating in any topic, in any that area or a domain, that comes under, that's how you are inculcating internationalization in the curriculum. So when we talk about internationalization of curriculum, the one aspect it talks about how you are covering the series of international activities, how you are establishing a linkage or a partnership between one university or between a one area or another domain, and how the kind of a research initiatives that you are taking, and you are establishing a collaboration between the 2 geographical borders. And the another aspect of another definition of internationalization of curriculum, which talks about that how you are delivering the education to the other countries. It could be having a one franchisee, or it could be having another distance technique or a mode of education. That's how you are delivering education. So that's the another definition of internationalization of curriculum. Now when we talk about IOC, so this internationalization of curriculum, it is basically a incorporation, how you are incorporating all those intercultural and the global dimension in our content, in our curriculum. And so when we inculcate all these dimensions in our curriculum, at the end of the day, it affects the learning outcome. And it not only changes the learning outcome, but also how we are assessing our task, and how we are the kind of a methods that we are using in the teaching. So in my further slides, I'm going to talk about that how we can derive the international learning outcome, and any support service that we use in the program study. So when we talk about the curriculum, and I think we all are from academia, and we know that there are 3 types of curriculum. The first is the formal curriculum, and the other one is informal, and third one is the hidden curriculum. So formal curriculum, if we talk about that, we can see in the teaching learning plans, that how we mentioned our syllabus, how we describe in our syllabus the entire course content, and then the learning outcome. All these comes under the formal curriculum, which are written, which are documented, which are mentioned in our BOS. Now when we talk about the informal curriculum, so we have in our university, we have lots of clubs, we have different clubs. That's how we are teaching our students. So informal curriculum are all these workshops that we do for our students, the kind of the different clubs that we form for our students. That means that's a different form of a learning. We are teaching about the different aspects, about the various dimensions through an informal way. Now the third aspect, which talks about the hidden curriculum. Now hidden curriculum, which is not defined, which is not documented, but yes, like That's some things which are already there. Like we don't teach our students that they need to respect us, they need to say good morning, but it is there. It is the part, it comes under the hidden curriculum. Now when we talk about internationalization and especially in the curriculum, now our objective here is we need to inculcate and embed internationalization in all these three different levels. In a formal level, if we are coming up, or if we are having, for example, like for example my area is organizational behavior, how I'm gonna embed, how I'm gonna fix up, or how I'm gonna include internationalization in my area. So maybe giving a research topic or maybe a project topic to our students, which basically talks about, or which provides the exposure of internationalization in my curriculum through a formal way. The second way is informal way. Maybe I'm gonna send my students, or maybe we'll have a one club which talks about diversity and inclusion club at a university level, where we are doing the culture training, culture sensitivity training for our students, so they know what are the culture shock, or if they need to go abroad, what kind of behavior that they need to be, they need to behave. So we understand that there are the various culture differences are there, the various ways how the different cultures they work. So how we are teaching our student through informally. Now in the hidden curriculum, again, that how we are teaching and training our students. So hidden curriculum basically talks about all those aspects. Now another aspect which I would like to discuss about is the global competence. And you know, the entire essence and the crux is how we are inculcating internationalization, the series of all these activities and the global competence in our formal, informal and our hidden curriculum. So when we're talking about, so let me talk about the global competence. And as we know that, and coming from a HR area, the competence that we talk about is a cluster of how the knowledge, skill, attitude and the value that works. And when we talk about the global competence, so the essence of a knowledge, value, attitude and the skill and the composition of all these things, and a person should be in a position to examine how the local, global and the intercultural issues, and a person should understand and appreciate the perspective and the world views of the others as well, of other culture as well. And he or she should understand to take the actions for the collective well-being and the sustainable development, and to engage in a more open and appropriate and a more effective interactions across the cultures. So, you know, when we understand all these terms, so the objective of this workshop and, you know, this entire capacity building is because we always remain and we interact with our students. You know, our aim is how we can the kind of a training and how we can include all these parameters in our syllabus and transfer the same information or a knowledge to our students as well. Now, when we talk about the global competence, how we can facilitate and how we can include these aspects. So definitely when we talk about the global competence, we can facilitate the development of the skill, knowledge and attitude, and we can equip our students as a more international graduates, because that's our purpose, just to make them a more international graduate professionals and the citizens. And we need to, you know, the entire focus is we need to implement a kind of a wider focus than the outbound mobility. Because the another aspect which I would like to talk about, that internationalization at homes, because most of the times what we believe that whenever this word comes in our mind, internationalization, we believe that either we need to go out or either we need to call someone, or either it should be a exchange program or maybe a something else where we need to go. But no, this term internationalization at homes talks about how we can create and at least start the conversation at home itself without going anywhere or without maybe at times calling someone. So internationalization at homes talks about when you start the conversation and when you start the building up about the internationalization at your home, within the environment or within the geographical boundaries. So there are the three parameters by which we can inculcate global competency in our curriculum. The first is the cognitive dimension, second is the affective dimension, and the third one is the behavioral. So affective is more closely when it comes to the formal curriculum, which is there, which is written, and that's how you can inculcate. And the second one is affective. That means a kind of a approach of open-mindedness, when you have that mindset, that broad mindset, when you accept the other culture, and when you don't have that fear that, okay, I'm completely open to work in a diverse team, I'm completely open to work in this new environment. When you have that kind of a mindset, that open-mindedness, we can do, or we can start that practice through our informal curriculum. Now the third aspect which I was talking about, the hidden curriculum, that we can build up through a behavioral dimension, that how we can start building up in a more at a subconscious level. That means we don't need to document it, but yes, people are sensitive, they know that yes, it is quite okay to work in a more diverse environment. There is no term called as a culture shock. They are completely okay if they got the opportunity to work in a very remote location, or maybe at any point of time, they are completely okay, because we have already trained them, not in a formal, not in a informal way, but yes, it is through our hidden curriculum. They are completely trained, and now they are okay to be a global professional citizen. Now this table basically talks about, as you can see, that there are three levels. The one is the institution level, second one is the program level, and third one is a course level. Now at a graduate, when we talk about at an institutional level, the objective, how we can put the international perspective from the institutional level. Now at a program level, definitely what we need to do, we need to come up and we need to manage a project. It's one of the example that maybe, suppose if we are giving a one project to our students, so maybe we can include more diverse group members in that project. So what will happen? It will definitely change our learning outcome, and our learning outcome of that course or of that student definitely will have a more goal because that person is already worked with a diverse team. He has been the part of that group. So we can see the result on the learning outcome as well. Maybe if sir would like to add anything in the same example, so you can add any in any, maybe in the global citizenship or so. Now, the objective of our entire exercise, what we are doing from this global competency and talking about the internationalization, the entire objective has sum up in these questions that, at the end of the day, we want more international graduates, we want more global professionals, and we want this internationalization of curriculum should be the part that yes, everyone is quite understood, and then we are trying to implement it at our own level, whether if it is at formal level, informal level, at what level we are implementing it. Now, I'm talking about that internationalization at homes. So quickly, I am going to talk about that, how we can at least start without going anywhere or without doing any other international activity, how we can establish internationalization at home. So maybe we can give a project which talks about or which covers the international parameters. Maybe we can form a group of the diverse culturally people or students in that project. Or maybe what we can do, we can integrate any of the element or any of the module which basically covers the aspect of internationalization in that subject, in that presentation, or in that course maybe. How we can make our classroom a more culturally diverse, so that a more inclusive learning and assessment can be possible. Sometimes the approach, whenever we talk about internationalization at home approach, it's not just most of the times that it might be possible that it's a matter of the English, but our objective and the entire aim is, it's not the matter of a language, it's matter of how we are starting the conversation and how we are setting up that global context in the environment. That is our aim. And it could be, so when we talk about the approaches of internationalization at home, it could be the excursion trips, more community-based research projects, because in the global competence we talk about how we can prepare our students for the more well-being of the others and the more sustainability aspect when if we are covering. So we can give more community-based projects, more excursions, more live projects, and a more formal learning scenario, so that they understand that yes, this is a serious concern and they will start again, because everything, if professor is saying something to a student, they start taking it seriously, and if they see that it is a part of a TLP, again they'll become more serious. And if we say that yes, we're going to assess you, if you do that, your internal marks are based on this, they become 100% serious. So that's how we can at least start that conversation, so it will definitely affect their outcomes. So I think rather than, or I know everyone is already occupied with, I can see the faces that, please ma'am, you can summarized in maybe in less time. So everyone is already tied up, and many of my friends have already requested me that they need to leave early. So I have accepted your request, and I've tried to summarize my point of view in a more short manner. But you know, it's more about if we can have a more open conversation where we can discuss a more experiential way. Maybe all of you are already doing it, that you are already including these parameters in your TLP, in your assessment, in your pedagogy. So maybe we can learn from each other. What I am not using in my OB paper, ma'am is using in their psychology, or maybe someone is doing the law. We can take their experience, and that's how we can learn and we can implement in a more formal way. So that's our objective, and that's our aim. So maybe after sir's discussion, and then we can have a very open conversation where we can learn from each other. So thank you so much.